Well, for my friends who want to know how the garden's coming along, this is the island bed. The Buckeye Bell Peony's putting on a second show. Hope for Humanity's covered. That one in the front is a Snow Beauty, I think, a white rose. Red leaf rose is now covered in blooms. And this, same as the other peony, is putting on a second show. So the perennial border, my pink peonies putting on a nice show, and my yellow irises and the white bearded irises. Now my white peony is just starting, and little zinnias are trying. It's very dry. My false sunflower is just peeking the yellow blooms out. It's going to be covered. And then here I have two cranesbill geraniums. Purple blue, Johnson blue I think, and this pink blooming. And there's Megan and I's little fairy garden that we do every year. And then you get over here, you start seeing our Johnny Jump Ups, or viola, in our path. My creeping thyme is blooming. And you can see a whole bunch of viola is going to be blooming in about a week. And then you get into our old raised beds we put in about 20 years ago. This is dill, fava bean. There's a second planting because it got dried out. And there's 2 rows of parsnips going to come up and 2 rows of green beans. And this is my tomato patch here, as well as some by the barn. And this is the herb garden. I'm going to pick a schwack of rhubarb tomorrow. And here's the rest of the herbs. I've got broadleaf parsley, curled parsley, lemon balm, summer savory for winter soup. I just pick them all in the fall, freeze them in Ziploc bags, and use them all winter. The chives I'm going to put in a salad tonight, and dill. And this is our cucumber patch. We planted the first 2 corners 2 weeks ago, and we just did a second planting in each alternate corner yesterday. And this is our carrots. I've done 2 rows of carrots, 1 yellow, 1 orange, 4 rows of beets, yellow beets, and Detroit Reds. Over here we have a new pear tree and an apple tree, and we have blackberries and raspberries over here. Those are Killarney raspberries. They were my mother-in-law's. Glad to have those. And that was her rhubarb that I grew too. And this is our new Kailyaird. So on this side, Megan and I planted a variety of snapdragons, zinnias, and angelonias. I've got a morning glory, some ornamental kale, a lot of cosmos that aren't blooming quite. They're just starting to bloom. And a yellow and green zucchini. Over on this side, we've got ornamental sunflowers, and then this whole row is, there's about 45 asparaguses just starting to sprout. We'll harvest them some next year, some the year after. And so I didn't want to waste the space. I grew peas all along here. 2 rows of potatoes staggered. And then on each end, I've seeded nasturtiums because they're supposed to really help your potato crop. And then over here, this is Megan and I's leek, onions, and shallots. And you can see some of the leeks are really coming along great. And the onion sets and the shallots are really doing well. And then I planted calendula amongst them and amongst the back where I have our corn and about 3 or 4 types of zucchini. In this bed we have peppers, eggplant, Brussels sprouts, and broccoli. And then this is for climber beans. Over here I have staggered green beans and marigolds and summer savory are supposed to be great accompanying plants, so I did those. And this is the trough Mark made me. This is an old wash tub. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. I might do a water feature in that. And in the trough I've done majestic millet because it's going to be tall and burgundy. And then I've done eucalyptus and just a variety pack of yellows and oranges Megan wanted to try. We've got really cute little pansies back there. And a type of daisy that I cannot remember the name. I think it's Asturium, but I'll show you the bloom. Anyway, really pretty. Celosia. I think that's what that's called. By the greenhouse, we have chocolate mint for tea. And just, I collect old watering cans. I started with my grandma's, and this one's got a hole in the bottom, so it became a planter. And over here, this is where I've had to reseed a couple of times. We expected the first year, before the manure and everything on the bottom rotted, that we'd have to. So there's lettuce and Swiss chard over there. There's the good Swiss chard. A really good 2 rows of radishes that I've covered with cheesecloth to keep the bugs off. And then I've got my lettuce. This is an Asian variety here. 2 rows of kohlrabi, cosmos, and then a variety of spinach and lettuces, and green and yellow kale, or green and purple kale, sorry, and purple cabbage. And then to pretty it up, I did a row of lavender in the front that are just going to start blooming in the next couple of weeks. And this is Megan and I's grandma bed. We did gladiolas for the first time. They're all up. Sweet peas at the back. Baby's breath, dahlias, and then this whole row is this is ever-bearing strawberries. They're really putting out blooms now. We had to cover it with the wire because the first 2 strawberries, birds ate them. So all the way down here are ever-bearing. And then when you get down to the end, we did some June bearing just for a variety. In the back, we've planted 2 Valiant grapes. And I underplanted those with pink impatiens because there's a bit of shade over there. And this is our little tea spot. So when COVID's over, I look forward to having friends here. Little bee house in the background. But yeah, this is our little Kailyaird, the greenhouse. And if everything grows, we should have lots to share with friends. Over here, I'll just quickly show you the squash that we planted. Up the back, we will have ornamental gourds and mini pumpkins, and then we have ornamental corn and 3 rows of sweet corn that aren't up yet. They're just 1 row from 3 weeks ago is up. So yeah, that's our little patch of heaven. Thanks everybody for your encouragement.